Hi there. Today I am sharing 5 practical tips that I'm using this year to enjoy Halloween treats, and I think they will be helpful for you too. First and foremost, the best thing we can do is set a goal, because when we have a problem, it usually means we have a goal and something is hindering us from getting there. So setting your intention or your goal ahead of time before the 31st, right? It's going to be super helpful. What is your goal? For some people, they might want to completely abstain from having any sugar. Maybe you've been diagnosed with diabetes or some kind of health condition, and that's the route that you want to take. For me, however, with a sort of history of overeating and kind of binging and all of that, I have learned that completely trying to eliminate whole food groups and sweet treats is really not conducive to me meeting my goals. So I would rather plan ahead and make room and space for those treats into my meal plan, you know, whether it's every day for the week of Halloween or just that weekend, whatever works for you, but I'm kind of incorporating it throughout the week. So I wanted to share with you what I wrote because it's too hard for me to memorize everything. I wrote, I'm going to enjoy a few treats and plan for them ahead of time so that I can enjoy them and remain in control. I know it's worked for me in the past, and I know it can work for me this year. Number 2 is to choose your faves. So quality over quantity. I know that in the past, if I've like caved and had an Airheads or something like that, like I don't really like those candies, but sometimes if I'm craving sweets and it happens to be in the house, maybe we went to a birthday party or we have it for Halloween, I tend to regret it a little bit more. And working on that mental mindset is important to not like berate ourselves when we have, a sweet treat. I just like this practical tip because I would rather enjoy something that I actually really like. You know what I mean? I'd rather have that sweet treat and have it be something I enjoy. For me, that's the chocolates. Like I love Snickers, Twix, Tootsie Rolls, all of those things. So I'd rather choose those and incorporate that into my plan than, have something else. With that being said, let me pause here real quick before I go on and encourage you to like this video if you're finding it useful or helpful. Please subscribe. I'm sharing my journey to lose 40 pounds and in a healthy way, mind, body, and soul. And I also have a free download if you want to check that out. It has a lot to do with mindset from a rational and truthful and also faith-based perspective to help you reach your goals when it comes to weight loss. So if you want to check that out, you can see it in the description. So number 3 builds off of what I just said, which is just planning ahead, really knowing what your macros are looking like or your calorie counts, or if you're doing WW like me, what points you have, and how can you incorporate those treats into your day or your week or your weekend, whatever the case may be. But actually making a plan is going to help you, really get there. Number 4 builds off of that, and that's to consider having some healthy alternatives. If, for whatever reason, you just aren't really feeling having whatever you have at home, but you do want a little sweet treat. I personally really enjoy having things like fruit, dark chocolate, or even I'll slice up apples. I love Honey Crisp. Slice those up and get a tablespoon of peanut butter, chunky peanut butter, and just enjoy that as a sweet treat, or even just a spoonful of peanut butter sometimes is just really great and satiating, and I can incorporate that into my plan, into my day, and not, feel guilty about it because I've planned ahead, I made room for it, and I know that I can have success in not only losing weight, but feeling well and being in control by having that little treat at the end of a filling dinner or lunch. And that's another really important part too that I'll just, share here. If you're recovering from binging or overeating, whatever you want to label it, it's important to recognize that you do need to eat and that you need to eat until you're full. You're going to be less likely to, or, that's just true. I've noticed it for myself and I've read it in a lot of materials about binging. You're going to be less likely to binge if you're eating filling and satiating meals. So for me, that's why I do WW. I like that chicken breast, which is like one of my favorite proteins. Boneless, skinless is 0 points. So I don't have to stick to the macros or calories of having only 3 ounces and then X amount of like potatoes or X amount of green beans or black beans. I can just fill up a bowl with like 6 to 8 ounces of chicken breast and a whole bunch of my Cuban style that I make from scratch black beans that they're both 0 points, and then I can put some green onion, some cayenne, make it nice and spicy, and just really get comfortably full. And because it was spicy and with like a little sweet treat, and it fits into my points for the day. So it is something that works for me, that I think it's healthy and balanced and sustainable. The fifth and final tip I think is a really good one, and that's to remind yourself how you feel after. So whether you've planned ahead and you've stuck to your goals and you've stayed in control, how you feel after that versus how you feel in those moments where maybe you did slip up and you did overeat and overindulge. How do you feel after that? And I want to encourage you not to just focus on like the mental shame and guilt and the way that we talk to ourselves, but also the physiological sensations. Like I noticed in the past when I've done that, I have felt sick to my stomach, kind of nauseous, maybe my heart rate elevates, or I have a sugar crash, and I just don't have the energy to, do the things that I want to do in the day. Go outside with the boys and play, walk the dog, do the dishes before I go to sleep, whatever the case may be. So recognizing how you feel afterwards is just one of those things that's really motivational. It helps you want to stay on track and build those habits. And that's another final bonus tip, is don't focus so much on motivation and feeling like doing it. Something that I've heard from successful people so often, whether it's success in business, in fitness, in anything, it's doing the things you know you need to do even when you don't feel like it. There might be days you don't feel like going to work, but you go anyway because you know you kind of have to. It's the same with this. There's going to be days where you don't feel like, eating healthy, but if your goal matters to you more than your emotions, which that's an important thing to be able to reconcile, then you're going to reconcile or rather recognize that, this goal is more important than the way that I feel, right? I can't be so bound by my emotions that I just hold myself back. I need to learn to discipline my emotions and discipline my life and build those healthy habits that are going to move me forward and move me to where I want to be. So I hope you found that helpful. Those are just some of the tips that I'm using to help me incorporate the sweet treats and enjoy Halloween and the holidays and just stay, you know, disciplined and with self-control. And remember, you build healthy habits one choice at a time. Until next time, stay strong.